Every family has a problem and everyone has difficulties being a parent.
If social isolation is a risk for parenting, which the research supports, what's needed is supportive programs that actually bring people in the community together to reduce the social isolation.
Teachers have to get involved, because if they don't get involved and something is happening to that kid, your question, you could lose your job.
You bring a group of people together and you say to them, this is your opportunity to express yourself, whether it's about what's happening in your family, what happens in Liverpool, what happens in the local community, what happens in this school. As people find their voices, they'll take that opportunity.
It's got nothing else to do with anyone else, what you do with your kids. To say, oh, I can't look after Molly, or I can't cope, you feel like you're judged.
Yeah.
It's almost a self-perpetuating inbuilt publicity thing that people from Liverpool have, I think. We're salt of the earth, we are. And to a degree, that might be true, because it is a port and it's used to welcoming people. If you speak to the people locally, there's a lot of good heart in the area, there's a lot of friendliness in the area. But Everton as an area is quite isolated. If you don't have to come here, you just pass it by. And the reason to come in here, which used to be the ships, isn't here now. So it kind of grows in isolation, and therefore as a community, it stays very much within itself.
Oh, it was a lovely community. Actually, you had to fight to get a house in this street. You know, it was very good all around this district. Your neighbours and things like that, all the people you grew up with. There was at least 6 of us that used to always go on annual holidays together, you know, to Spain and places like this. All the families, they come along, break up the communities, and this is what happens. The saddest thing for me is losing all the neighbours that you grew up with and you lived with, and the community's just gone to pan. I feel sorry for the younger ones who's come in the street now with younger kids who's still left behind. And their kids can't play with anyone, really. You know, there's no one here to play with them.
There's no trust. You know, even women now with children and everything. And, you know, you'd say, oh, I'm going on holiday, look after my house. You can't do that now. Give somebody a key to let them in your house and draw your curtain. You can't do it now. You can't trust anybody.
Now I think everyone just tends to shut the door and no one bothers. Like if there was a fight in our street years ago, we'd all be out on the step watching it. Whereas now, if you hear any noise or anything, you just sort of have a peep out the window, don't you? And then keep your door shut and don't say nothing to no one. Yeah, it was a better atmosphere and it's more friendly then.
We've got 3 generations of people coming to the club, for instance, to pick up children, to pick up grandchildren, and they all live within a stone's throw of the club. But in terms of how happy and healthy that community is, that's a different matter altogether. Amongst young people that we deal with specifically, there is an almost feral level of violence and anger, whether it's to do with social injustice or whether it's because the parents don't have the parenting skills. Sometimes that is the case. And we know, because we deal with that specifically, that's hands-on experience of dealing with the children that are problematic. And we can see the parents who are struggling. There is a neighbourhood, it is a community, but there's no real place for it to expand into.
We talk about almost fractured communities, that people want to be part of community, and I think that happens across the country. I think it's heightened in Liverpool because of its long tradition of community, but almost people are wanting that to happen and really not sure how to go about that. And it's almost like there've been communities in waiting, I think.
We'll just tell them tonight, just say Jackie's going to be in 5 minutes. Come on, quickly for dinner.
It's a very sophisticated recruitment and engagement strategy and based on very good research. That's the first part, getting people to show up once.
You sure? All right, come on.
I went to the research on how to get people to show up and the research on how to get people to do something they don't really think they need to do.
Families and schools together.
It's all in sales. It's all in the research on business psychology, how to get people to buy something where they don't really know that they want this, because we were going for voluntary parental involvement.
All right, so just ticking them boxes, white British, whatever. Okay, Sonia?
The person says, come try this once. That person should look like you and should be from your background.
Yeah, any qualifications now, and then this one is, what's your current job? Full-time mum. What's got professional qualifications? Have you got any professional qualifications, MPQs, anything like that? Yeah, in catering and animals. We'll just put yes, and then it says profession, so you want catering and what the job is.
And these are things that reduce the stress for the child. To have their family eat and laugh together in the school building reduces their own alienation and their parents' alienation from the school, increases the parents' feeling of comfort at the school and their involvement at the school, even though we don't ever say, you should feel more comfortable at the school. It's sort of an indirect result.
There's a whole evidence base behind each part of the programme as well, and in particular structural family therapy, where you look at the hierarchy within families, and I think what's happened is that we've had, traditionally that hierarchy has been flattened, and so it's important that we recognise that parents are actually in charge of the family.
So the parent gets lots of practice, and the child gets practice in being obedient to a clear request. So that's embedded into the activities.
The families that we've got, if I'll go through them, we've got Paula, who's got Molly and the little baby.
We count, like the Native Americans do, on bringing everybody who's important to the table in the planning. And that means we need the parents, who are like the parents you want to recruit. We need the teachers, the social workers, we need the community organizers, we need the people who know about depression and substance abuse that might be issues at home.
I have an open mind about parenting programs. A few years ago, when I was very heavily involved with the Children's Fund, one of the biggest barriers that small local projects reported was the interface with schools. Working across those barriers between community and school, between families and school, was particularly difficult even for small local projects who you'd think would have those connections. You know? Just because the group's so big, the numbers, it's just getting everybody through, isn't it? It's not an issue, but it's all FAST I was particularly interested in, because the notion of families and schools together really interests me. So I don't know, I'll be interested to see where we get to in by Christmas.
If we take that issue,
I think what I thought was we'd be creating our own little school community amongst the parents. You know what I mean, don't you? Just like, because you go in the yard and you see different parents standing, don't you? And you do see the odd parent, because you've got parents who go to breakfast club and you've got children who do after school, so some parents miss. You know what I mean? And you used to see the ones who missed other parents, didn't you? And I just thought, oh, it'd be great, you know what I mean, to see them all come together. Yeah. Because it was more of a community, wasn't it? I remember, like, if my mum was sick, there'd be another mum she could phone up. Yeah, you know what I mean, to drop. You know what I mean? Now, I know I haven't got that personally, you know, from where I am. But, and I know a lot of parents didn't have it.
We never called ourselves a parenting course because we see ourselves as supporting families rather than teaching them a thing or two. And if social isolation is a risk for parenting, which the research supports, then an intervention that helps bring people together makes sense to me. And so I decided to go another way, which was to have a program where you break down isolation, make it okay to not be perfect, make it okay to ask for help in a way that's dignified and respectful. Like everybody, every parent needs support.
It was difficult because I was only 15, pregnant, becoming a mum. It was basically everyone's attitude against me. Basically, they didn't think nice things. I've proved them wrong because I've got 2 kids now, I'm 22, and I love being a mum. It is difficult, yeah, more financially than anything else. I've tended to buy myself a blender and just throw a few potatoes in a pan and a handful of vegetables. It makes 3 dinners up for it. And usually if I buy tins, which is like, it works out about 99 pence a jar now. Now that out of my budget is a lot, do you know what I mean? I put £20 lecky on and £20 gas. That doesn't last me the week.
We can't live together at all, no way. We can't do it because we always argue and it's not good for the kids, so.
Well, do you not expect to be shouted at when you're naughty now? That's all. Why are you naughty for me but you're not for your dad? That's what I want to ask, that's what I want to know. She was writing kill, kill, kill on paper and basically imitating to stab me. You're just 6 and you're my little girl and I love you to death. What about Lily? And I love Lily as well. But I love you, Molly May, and I can't put up with your behaviour anymore. She's just dead naughty. She's just got no respect for me at all. I'm sick of crying. That's all she seems to do lately is cry. But they want to give me these pills. I call them happy pills, but they bring you right down before they bring you up again. I don't want to have tablets to run my life, do you know what I mean? Depression is a horrible thing, a real horrible thing, and you feel like no one wants to be your mate, no one wants to know you.
What is Jordan gets up in the morning, goes to school all day, and then times he comes in from school, I'm absolutely knackered. I'll do the tea, put the babies to bed because they go to bed, and then me and him will have a couple of 2 hours together before he goes to bed, and we'll read his book and that. And then he'll get bored then and mess, so I just end up sending him to bed. But we don't really have time together. The babies and me have time all day. We only have 2 hours. And then over the weekend he goes to his dad's. He goes to his dad's either on a Friday after school till a Saturday. And then I always take him out or do something with him. But it's never me and him the way it was before I have the babies. Do you understand me?
And the most important part of the programme is one-to-one. When I say one-to-one, that is one particular parent to go and spend 15 minutes playing with their children. In parenting programmes, it's the one consistent part in all the programmes. It's about making a connection with an adult that's going to sustain them through into adulthood. To actually stop and spend 15 minutes doing something very child-focused, finding that time and actually just stopping for 15 minutes can be quite difficult sometimes. So we just coach them through that and we support them through that.
Jordan's one of these kids, if you let him get away with one thing, he'll get away with 12. He's easy led. If kids say do this, he'll do it. Or if one of my mates come, he'll try and show off and dance and say he's a gangster and little stuff like that. But he's not naughty. He wouldn't hit someone or call him something or be, you know what I mean? He would never ever do that.
When Joshua first started with his behaviour issues, I was advised to do a parenting course, which I did do, and it was using all the same techniques that I use now, the naughty step, confiscating toys, star charts, grounding. Not one thing worked with him. No shouting inside or outside, no swearing, including fathead, big head or fatty. No fighting, kicking or hitting of anyone. I thought it another way of trying to bring in control to Joshua's behaviour. That's for at the end of the day, when you come home.
Feed the dog.
Feed the dog's done. We've already got a tick there. Yeah.
Oh, that's gone out. I think I will be good today.
No.
But I got 3 ticks.
Yeah, but listen to me. Do as you're asked straight away and listen is the ones that you got to improve on. Isn't it? Yeah? This is about the 10th reward chart as well that I've used. And it doesn't work. Joshua will tell you himself
He's not bothered.
Sometimes punch her, sometimes I slap her, sometimes I kick her.
So he's freaking out at the moment. He's becoming very distressed, very violent. Picking things up and throwing them across the room. Will you make a promise to me that you're going to stop? Right, you get a cross on your chart because you have not listened. It's getting worse. I want you to come here and listen to me. You have got a cross on your reward chart. It's all right hugging me. And just to see him the way he is breaking my heart. Well, have a good day. Yeah? We need to find a coping mechanism for us both just to handle everything.
I always thought I'd never be a good mum. And everyone would say, your children are always clean, your children are always fed, they're always happy. I'd love to be a hero and try and save someone's life, or try and save someone's house, or save someone's... just be a hero in some kinds of way. When I was a kid. But I never ever ended up doing that. I ended up being a hairdresser for 2 years. Then I've been a cleaner. And then once all my kids are in school full time, I want to get back to work and to be a cleaner again. I want to do something different that I've never had the guts to ever do before. I've always took the first option, what I've always thought I can do. But now since I've had my kids and I think these have brought me confidence up. They always say there's always something right round the corner, isn't there? Something right for you round the corner. And I think we're getting there now.
And so the families come in on the first day and they all sit at their individual family table. Creates that family boundary.
We want them to see this is our family, and they can experience it by the fact that only our family is at the table. So there are all these sort of visual, nonverbal lessons happening too about family boundaries and we are a family, and these are things that reduce the stress for the child.
All the instructions given to the parents instruct the family. It's about privileging the position of the parents as head of the family. And the first thing that they do is decorate a family shield.
Would you like to come with me and choose?
So you can choose whatever you want.
So there are about 200 clear requests that the parent makes over the 8 weeks. So the parent gets lots of practice, and the child gets practice in being obedient to a clear request.
Go and get some stuff to decorate it. So if you want to ask them to go over to the table and get some stuff.
Table. Leave the shield on the table and go and get some stuff off the table to decorate it. You stay there. You stay there. Let's see. Pass some scissors there, please, George. Pass me some scissors, please. Very warm welcome to FAST. I know you're going to have a fab time. I'm looking forward to the food already. You've come here, which is brilliant. You've had a go. And if you love it, you can come back next week. And we'd love it that if all of you can carry on with it, that would be brilliant. I think it's about sharing information more confidently and communicating with families in the school more effectively. So we're learning to communicate better with the families, and the families hopefully are learning to kind of trust us and share information with the school more effectively.
We were anxious. I think it was the fact that we weren't sure how our families would take to this, and ourselves, whether we'd enjoy doing it.
And after 3, we'd like you to say, hello, FAST team.
And it's, hi, it's American, hi.
1, 2, 3.
Hello, Williams family. Hello, Fast family. Hello, Jones family.
I wanted to run back out of the room. Especially when we had to put the name in.
I know. Especially when we had to like go, hi, you know, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. You've just got to watch. No one's watching you because they'll be back to this school. Yeah, but hang on, Julie, you'll get that.
Is that what you want though for this special session, or do you want one of the police officers to come in, or do you want one of the fire officers to come in?
To say, oh, I can't look after Molly, or I can't cope, you feel like you're judged. Yeah.
I knew exactly in that group who I could trust from that day onwards.
Every family has a problem and everyone has difficulties being a parent.
Stop getting upset, sit up and try and have a conversation. I'm not shouting at you. She's just dead naughty. She's just got no respect for me at all.
I get called up to school now for like Jordan making noises in school. Since Jordan started in, I've been called in the office about 5 times.
If social isolation is a risk for parenting, which the research supports, what's needed is supportive programs that actually bring people in the community together to reduce the social isolation.
I hate you. Pack me bags because I'm going to live with me dad.
Yeah.
He told you he got himself dressed.
Got himself dressed and said, "Tra, Mum," and walked up to school.
And got the baby out the cot and everything, didn't he?
So one of the parent partners who works on the team actually facilitates that part of the programme. You don't have school professionals in that group because parents quite often won't talk openly about whatever they want to talk about if there's somebody from the school there.
And like, I think I wouldn't let mine do that now at that age. I remember us going into empty houses. No, I mean, I'm a single mum. I know I don't get praised at home. Do you know what I mean? It's just children, and that's sometimes what people are missing. They're missing that other person at home. When I get a knock, it makes me feel down. You know what I mean? And if you're a parent who's had a few knocks, then it's natural that you're going to doubt that you're good at your job. His big face, he had a big smile on his face. And he loved it, didn't he? And you enjoyed it as well, because you were dreading it, weren't you, when we said when it was coming
Jordan
up?
won't usually ever sit and do nothing with me. He always wants to play on the PlayStation or that, but when he's naughty, I tell him he can't play out and he can't play on the PlayStation or like SDS or whatever, and that hits him. Since I've been coming so fast, I know like more mums, and we're usually just go and pick him up and come out, or like when I first had Tony, like they could come over with the baby and that, but now I do like know all the names and they all call me Joanne and stuff. So it is good like that I have come, because I didn't know anyone in the school.
I love buddy time, I do. I think that's the best bit about it, because everyone can pour out what they're feeling. I think last Wednesday was the breakthrough. I think everyone tries to be, oh, I'm this big perfect mum. I don't want no one to know that about me. But we're not. No one's perfect. No one.
And then it took me crying outside.
Yeah.
And then coming back in and still crying.
Are you okay? And then I went, I can't cope. I cannot cope with Molly May. I've got no control over her, blah, blah, blah. And then everyone went, and it just all come out then. And she was like, oh, thank God for that. No.
I've even started confiscating presents from Santa.
Yeah, I have.
Ain't phasing him.
Yeah, and
Ain't phasing him, it's so what?
Yeah, when Letty said she wanted to kill me, stab me, she was going to kill the baby, I used to give it a tin and run upstairs and go, Mum, she's possessed. I was absolutely convinced that there was something wrong with her.
Actually, parents want to get to know the other parents of their children's comrades. And yet it's hard in most societies. People are so busy now or shy. And because it's 8 weeks, people actually make friendships. One of our biggest outcomes is that 86% of the parents who go make a new friend they still see 4 years later.
chicken curry, we're having a vegetable curry, isn't it?
Normally there's a different family or pair of families who cook every week with my sort of help and guidance, because it can be quite daunting, I think, cooking for so many people. But we're here to help them with whatever level they're happy at. If you want to bring in some pizzas and a few tins of tuna and, you know, make your own pizzas, then we'll do that.
I really can't wait. I'm a bit disappointed actually, because this week whoever got picked as making a curry and rice, which I wanted to do chicken curry and rice, but it's tough, innit? It's just one of them. I know, but I might poison everyone.
Fewer and fewer families actually have the time or take the time to eat together as a group. And that has been studied in itself, that having a family meal at least once or twice a week helps your child academically to do better. During the family meal, where they all sit at the family tables and they're not allowed to visit each other at different tables, so the parent has to sort of corral the family to their table, they ask one of the children to go up and get a plate for them, for the parent.
Thank you very much. I can get what you want. Pasta.
I like the way Molly May brings my dinner in and Anthony's dinner and Lily's dinner. I think that's brilliant, because it's a little bit of independence.
We're interested in parents having a chance to practice telling their children what to do and being successful.
Sausage pie, please, for the babies. Okay, thank you.
You've got to make things. So, do you want me to open it for you?
Just make something. Use your imagination.
The most important part of the programme is one-to-one. The Year 3 child would go and spend 15 minutes with one of their parents. In parenting programmes, it's the one consistent part in all the programmes. It's about making a connection with an adult. We provide a box of ordinary everyday objects, pegs, plasticine, so that parents can actually use that as a medium of following the child's lead, of playing with their children, of spending 15 minutes of child-focused time.
I'm going to make a body for my one.
You want to do one? Oh no!
I'm helping you.
I wanted to do that.
She's getting older now and she's clamming up a little bit more about feelings and what's going on at school, not, you know, stuff like that. So it's given me that time to spend with her and just have a little discussions like that, really.
So what could it be?
A big chicken.
Yeah, very good. I don't know, he's just more calm. Because he's always been like, if you're sitting there watching the telly, you go, bleh, and make like stupid noises, or like, he'd stand there and watch it and then he'd kick something, you know, like, and now he just like dead interested and you want to sit there and wait till the end, you know, till he finishes and that. So he has gone really good. I don't know if it's just an age thing that he's just grew out of it or what, but I think fast has really helped us, like, because it's like bonded me and him, because I think we're two of alike, you see. So sometimes we clash, and like when he's, and then I shout and he's like, Mom, stop it, and we just clash, I think, sometimes.
You can take that home.
What is it?
Like a little drumstick.
No. Look what it is, watch. See this? It's like a washing line, look.
Cheeky.
And this is a peg, like this, 2 different pegs.
The activities are very repetitive, very routine, just like good classrooms are, where the children know what happens next. Now we're going to do a drawing game. Now we're going to do a feeling charades cards game. So we embed the turn-taking sequences into the family activities. And every child feels heard because they get a turn to speak. And every child has a chance to listen to others, and they know they're going to be heard by their parent. And all those things are happening. And teachers love that because they want the students to know how to take turns, know how to listen to others, know how to speak about their own thoughts. So we're practicing all those things.
I'm stressed. I'm like, what am I going to get told today?
That's what I
That I won't be able to concentrate on the course. I'd be so much like, what I'm going to be told.
I'm all like, pick them up, and as soon as I go to that school, I feel like killing them all on the way down to school. Like 1 week, Sonia was getting upset saying she couldn't cope with Joshua and stuff, and like everyone was saying you're not on your own, and like talking, like we were talking in our group, like the different stuff that we could do, and like saying, trying to cheer her up and all that, and she was awful upset. And then the week after that, Paula coming in and was upset about Molly May and stuff. Yeah, we were just all opening up and that.
Well, that might be a good idea to get somebody in for that then, might it?
You bring a group of people together and you say to them, this is your opportunity to express yourself, whether it's about what's happening in your family, what happens in Liverpool, what happens in the local community, what happens in this school. As people find their voices, they'll take that opportunity.
You've just got to watch. No one's watching you because they'll be back to this school.
Yeah, but hang on, Julie, you will get that anyway, won't you?
But they are going back to the school, and it's got nothing else to do with anyone else, what you do with your kids. Do you see what I mean?
Teachers have to get involved, because if they don't get involved and something is happening to that kid, you're questioned, you could lose your job.
I think a lot of the time people don't want to access professional help, and there's a whole load of myths around whether people are being judged.
You try your best to look after your kids, but then like to say, oh, I can't look after Molly, or I can't cope, you feel like you're judged.
Yeah, you feel like you're getting
Do you know what I mean? To say, oh, I can't cope with Molly May, it's just like social services, take it off you. That's the most frightening thing, because if you can't cope with a child, obviously it's going to be took away. Like we had a meeting in Fast and stuff, and like everyone spoke about it and all. I said I weren't going to come back.
To say what you've got to say, but when you're saying something, it's not saying you can't. It's like you can't trust him anymore.
And it's a shame, because I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it loads, yeah.
I like going to the Fast because I like to meet new people.
I feel that I work with the school anyway. That's why I came into Fast, which like betters the relationship between the school and the family.
It's given me that confidence to do something in my life, instead of sitting there and not doing nothing at all. I'm talking to people, talking to other people.
Because kids can't play out these days, can they?
No, I don't
It's like
mind
I'm constantly with my children and my husband all the time, and I'm not with people my own age.
So what are you doing? Fast family?
But I feel a bit isolated still in that Fast. I don't know why, I just feel really isolated. I can't understand why when there's a group full of people. It's when you're doing the little family activities, it is. Because I wish there was like obviously more people there, but it's not just me and the 2 kids, isn't it?
Yeah. No one comes to me. No one comes to me at all. Do you know what I mean? I'd like it if like friends and that from school and come and sit with me and have a cup of coffee like that. Where are you in? I'm moving to.
Well, I don't know where you live. No one comes in my house. No one at all. I think the only people that have been in my house in that school is Paula. No one else comes in.
Paula's been to mine.
As I suggested though, you know, like us. Now we should like catch up on little gossip and all things like that.
Everyone's having a ball, and then like all this has happened, but now I'll just be sat there in silence, and I won't be saying this, or I will not be saying nothing.
They were protecting that mum because already that community's forming.
Yeah.
So you can't, now I'm not being funny, but if they'd have all walked away from her, Fast would have been failing.
Yeah.
No, I mean, but Fast wasn't. Fast was getting them. Even though they had the wrong end of the stick, it doesn't matter. They seen her upset and they were protecting
2 months
her.
already, because when she wanted to leave, there was 2 mums who were leaving with her, so she wouldn't be upset while she was walking home. I thought that was lovely.
That's it, isn't it? It's like a bit, and because she's had other parents and things getting mixed up, the roller coaster has not just been a little one; it's been a huge one.
And she needs to get. She needs to get our confidence. We need to get her confidence back with us as a team.
I knew it would be long. I'm going to do the graduation hats.
during school time because I'm not here next week. Oh yeah, well,
Because we've got to go to Cape at 5. I'll just do whatever you want me to do.
I don't know, because I was a bit unsure about whether anyone would come back tonight. I thought I might be the only parent back here. But speaking to everyone else is coming back tonight, so I'm quite pleased with that. Because I know the families who had issues last week, they were really, really enjoying it. So it would have been a shame for them to leave.
It wasn't us just actually saying, yeah, we can't cope with what's going on with our kids at the moment. Somebody else in authority was actually turning around and saying, right, well, we can do this to help you.
Yeah.
I think because we all opened up last week, that we're not going to be so worried about what our kids are doing.
I did feel like...
You know, when they're running off or they won't do as you tell them and things like that. We're not going to be so panicked up about telling them off.
No, true.
You know what I mean? We're going to be more relaxed about it, knowing that everybody else is going through the same with their kids.
They did sort of come round in the end, you know, it's like, oh, is everything going to be all right tonight? And I'm like, oh yeah, fast is going on as normal.
Once things were explained, you did a brilliant job last night of explaining, and then you know you've got them all back together again. You know what I mean, don't you?
I said to Jan, I said, I feel dead guilty because she's just doing a job and all that. She weren't being funny with me or nothing. She was just doing a job. I said, and it's all just being blew out. She was talking to me and all, and said, I'll come back. I really like you and Jordan, and should I do P with Jordan? I really got to know him, his little character and all that, she says. So I was talking, I went, since I have started to fast, Jordan's come on a lot better in school. Like the time when I was cooking, he would say, Mummy, you're working here, you're cooking our dinner and stuff. And I think because he knows since the fast, there was nothing for me to do in the school, but since I've been doing the fast, I'm joining in with people and the families now. He likes it more, so I don't know if that's why he's being good, I don't know.
Because she even said to me, she said, you know, Jen, my children have loved it. And I've said, well, you know, just give us another try and see, you know, come next week, come the week after and just see, and we will build bridges with you.
Because you get like that. There's nothing in interacting with the fantastic group of parents who I've been involved with over the last 4 or 5 weeks that I wouldn't expect if I or you or any of us got together with a group of friends. We have different views, we have different attitudes. And if we express those, sometimes people are going to be put off by them, but if we stick together and manage that well, and that's what I've witnessed here, is people want to find a way through that.
The data evidence tells us that, you know, lots of the children, their attendance improved, their punctuality improved, their relationships with school, the family's relationship with school improved. Because we had greater knowledge of the families, that helped the relationship, you know, and we were able to support the families better, and then families were able to give more information to us. From my point of view, you know, I'm really enthusiastic about it. It's got a huge potential, and that's why we're going to continue on a rolling programme, really.
1, 2, 3. Hello, it's family. Hello, first family. And our demi's starting the 8th of February. So she's got to meet her teachers, and they all know her name, the teachers and all that. So she's made up as well to start, instead of like just throwing it in the deep end in the school. The parents don't judge us. Like if I've got a problem, one of the mums will come up to me and say, you're alright, you're alright.
Hello, fast family.
But I was in a bad place last week, and I feel like I'm in a bad place at the moment. But I'm trying my best to bring myself out of it again, because I don't want happy pills to make me feel happy. I want to be happy on my own accord, do you know what I mean?
Hello, fast
Josh was told me I've got to make my chicken korma and rice.
Love that.